Do you fear the blank page? Sitting in front of a new document to start a new novel can be terrifying. But I have something that might just make the process a little less scary. Hi, I'm Jennifer Gregson, a book coach who uses tarot to help writers start and finish their novels all with a smile on their face. So we are officially into NaNoWriMo, and I have not used tarot in my videos in a while. So today I thought it would be fun to show you one of my absolute favorite tarot spreads that I created called Once Upon a Time. Helps me get a little bit more clear on what my character wants, what their motivation is, who should be in the scene with them, what the conflict is, and just gives me a great jumping off point so that I'm not just staring at that blank page going, I don't know what to do. So, you need your outline that we created a couple weeks ago. Just make sure you have that handy. Make sure you know sort of what that first beginning point was in your beginning, middle, and end, so that you just have a little bit of an idea of how you want to start. And let's dive in. Now, this spread has 5 questions. Again, if you don't want to use tarot, that's more than fine. Just use these questions as journaling prompts. They are in the description box below, but the journaling questions are in the description box below. But keep watching because you may never know. You might like the concept of using tarot cards. And 2, I will have some interesting information that will help you make this year's NaNoWriMo the best NaNoWriMo. So, my first sort of bullet point, my first post-it note for my NaNoWriMo novel is that Ruby, my main character, is heartbroken. She has just broken up with the person she was dating and then also finds out about her parents' divorce. So I kind of know who's in the scene, but let's see what happens as I start pulling cards. I'm going to be using the Modern Witch Tarot deck, which is the deck I've been using for this project all along. The first question I want to know is, what is your main character doing in this scene? And I have the Hermit. So this person is like shrouded. It's dark out. It's very mysterious. There's almost like a mourning type outfit, right? Which works perfectly for Ruby, who has her heart broken. Now, this is a very modern deck. She's looking at a laptop. So I kind of think that Ruby's like in her room, brooding like teenage girls do when they've had their heart broken for the very first time. And I think she's looking at pictures of them like on whatever social media site I pretend to use, right? So I'm not going to use like a real Facebook or Twitter kind of name, but something like an Instagram situation or a TikTok, right? So I feel like she's poring over all of these old pictures, just really in it about the heartbreak. So then my second question is, what is their motivation? So what is Ruby's motivation in this scene? And I pulled the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is all about karmic cycles, about things ending and other things beginning. Again, very apropos. That's not a real word. You know what I'm trying to say. It works for the story, but what about their motivation? And it's interesting because I see this character on the top and this character on the bottom. So I'm almost feeling like her motivation is almost to get back at the person that broke her heart. So I'm going to turn around. Let me look for a minute. So I'm definitely getting masculine vibes. So I'm going to assume that she was dating a man, a teenage boy, not a man, a teenage boy, and they broke up. And I almost feel like she wants to get back at him in some way. And maybe that's why she's pouring through these pictures, is to get some sort of evidence as to, let's see, was he dating someone else? Was he cheating? Is there some way that she can sort of blow up his life a little bit? So now I need to know, what is the problem or the conflict that Ruby's going to encounter in the scene. So that's kind of where she starts, right? I can kind of see starting the scene with her brooding, looking through these pictures, really thinking about him and how to get back at him. But what's the main conflict of the chapter? And we have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is a very motherly card. So I'm going to say her mom comes in to her room, and the mom is going to start the conversation about her parents getting divorced. And this is like the worst timing, right? But maybe the mom doesn't realize that Ruby's upset because she's dealing with her own stuff. So maybe she doesn't realize it. She comes in. This was the time she was ready to tell Ruby about the divorce. Like it's been in place for a while, maybe not a long while, but a while, and they've decided the mom is the one to go in and tell her. So that's what I'm kind of seeing. The wand is all about that fiery, passionate energy. So maybe Ruby responds badly to this news, right? And Ruby, if you guys can remember, I am dealing with elemental magic, has fire magic. So maybe something sparks within her. Maybe something happens and she's like, what is this? Like there's an energy, there's a feeling. Maybe she gets really, really hot. Maybe her hands get really hot. I haven't quite decided how the elemental energy is coming out, how this magic is going to show itself. But I can kind of see that her mom thinks this is going to go easier than it does. Mom's a little delusional, I think. And that happens, right? If the mom is like, I've made up my mind and we're divorcing, and she hasn't really taken into consideration how her daughter's going to feel yet, this could cause some conflict. So now I need to know who else is in the scene, right? So we have Ruby and we have the mom, but let's see if anyone else sort of presents itself. And I'm getting a King of Pentacles. So the dad is definitely going to come in at some point. If I remember correctly, this might be the card I actually pulled for the dad when I created him. So this deck is really giving it to me today. So the dad is a professor, and I did not figure out what kind of professor, but some sort of very grounding science type, math, finance, some kind of very earth energy type subject. He's very matter of fact. And for some odd reason, maybe he hears them fighting, maybe he hears Ruby get really upset, and he jumps in, which then causes problems with the mom, right? Because maybe they had a deal that she would go in and talk to her, and now she feels like the dad's butting in or something. But I'm really only getting these three characters, right? Like there's not a lot of other people in this card. There's just the one card. So I feel like this is kind of how this novel is going to start, with that family dynamic sort of being blown up and Ruby's whole world sort of crumbling. And then the last card is to help us with those other people in the scene. What is their motivation? So since I have two people in the scene, I may pull two cards. Let's see what the first card gives me. And it's the Chariot, which is all about forward motion. It's all about staying on the right path. It's all about making the sort of necessary goals happen. So I really think the parents' motivation is to move the conversation forward, move this, they've dealt with it on their own, and they need to bring their only daughter into the situation to make her aware that things are going to change. There is going to be a change in environment. Who's moving out? Who's staying in? Are they all moving? Are they selling whatever they live in? I see them as living in Queens. I had not figured out if they lived in a house or if they lived in one of the apartment buildings. That I hadn't decided. But is someone going to stay there? Are they all moving? There is going to be a lot of change, and the parents' motivation is to tell her that this is happening. And honestly, I think it's as simple as that. Again, if you had more than just those two people that were kind of like almost a united front in my case, right? Like the mom and dad really do have their own motivations for whatever the reason for the divorce is, and I could go into that with cards as well. But let's say you had a pretty big scene with 4 or 5 people besides just your main character, and you wanted to figure out motivation for all of them. You could totally pick cards for each person that's in the scene and what their motivation is. Or you can adapt this spread and say, okay, I know the players. I already know who needs to be in my scene. Then you could just skip over the card for who's in the scene and start pulling an individual tarot card for each person to just get a little bit more information as to why they are in the scene and what's going to happen in this sort of context of the conflict and the plot. Another good thing about these questions is you can use them for other scenes. I call it Once Upon a Time, and I use it as a beginning, like how to start your novel tarot spread, because sitting down at that blank page is really scary. And if you have some information going in, it's not so bad. But we could get, right? I'm doing NaNoWriMo as well. You could get to a spot where you're like, okay, I see this bullet point, I see this index card, this outline area, and I have no idea what to do next. You can go back to this same spread. What does your main character want? What are they doing in the scene? What's their motivation? Who else is in the scene? And what do they want? What's their motivation? And what sort of conflict plot points can I add to the scene to mix it up, right? So that's sort of the beauty of this scene, this tarot spread is it can be adapted to what you need as you are writing. So how is NaNoWriMo going for you so far? I would love to know, so please let me know in the comments below. And it is not too late to join my free accountability group. There are workbooks, you get tarot spreads like this. I just dropped a bonus word count tracker, so if you join sometime this week, I can send that to you. We are going to have our first weekly writing session tomorrow on the 3rd. So if you get in today, you will get that link, and you can come join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern to have a silent co-writing, and we can write and upcount our words together. So look for the link in the description box below, and let's just start. Let's have some fun. NaNoWriMo first drafts are all about that messy exploration, so make sure you're in it just to find out what the story is. Tell yourself the story first. Let it be messy. Let it be exploration, discovery, and have a great